Is the MSC Yacht Club as good as everybody says it is? We're going to find out. Hey cruisers, welcome back to Cruise Report. I'm going to talk to you today about the MSC Yacht Club and an experience that we had just recently, a couple of weeks ago. We spent a week on MSC Seascape. And just for those of you that may not be aware of what the MSC Yacht Club is, it is this ship within a ship concept. And what that means is basically they segregate people that are staying in certain suites and put them in a segregated area, kind of an upscale experience with better services, private dining, private lounge. And there are several different cruise lines that offer this. NCL has what they call the Haven. Princess Cruises has the Sanctuary. It's a little bit different on Princess. Celebrity Cruises has what they call the Retreat. What's different about MSC and NCL is it is a key card access. You can only get into this area of the ship if you're staying in the MSC Yacht Club, or in the case of NCL, in the Haven. I made a lot of notes during this cruise. I wanted to make sure I got everything covered because there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube about the MSC Yacht Club. Some of these videos are from travel agents who make a commission. If you purchase a cruise from them, they're going to obviously make money. They have very little incentive to say anything negative. I'm not saying that there's anything negative to say, and I'm not saying that these travel agents on YouTube are misleading you. I'm just saying that I want to be upfront and let you know our situation. We paid for this cruise. Now, there are cruises that we have done in the past that we have reviewed where the cruise line invites us as a guest, as part of the media, or as a journalist, or as an influencer, or whatever the heck they want to call us, and they've paid for our cruise. Go back and watch our videos. You'll find out. We're going to tell you what we like and what we didn't like, whether they paid for the cruise or whether we paid for the cruise. But on this particular cruise, MSC Yacht Club on MSC Seascape, we paid for this cruise. So this video is not sponsored by MSC Cruises. I'm not even sure if they were aware that we were on board. We took this cruise because a lot of you have asked us about the MSC Yacht Club. Now, we have done MSC cruises in the past. I think we've been on 3 different ships, but not in the Yacht Club, just in the regular MSC experience. And honestly, as I've mentioned to you in the past, we weren't that impressed. But so many people kept asking us about the MSC Yacht Club. We have a lot of people that watch our channel that are luxury cruisers. Most of the people that watch our channel are adults who travel as a couple. We don't really get into family cruising very much on this channel. So most of the people who are following our experiences are adults who travel as a couple without kids. This MSC Yacht Club, and this also goes for the Celebrity Retreat, they're kind of positioning this as a luxury experience. Now, why would somebody go on a ship within a ship like MSC Yacht Club as opposed to going on something like Silversea? You don't have as many amenities on a Crystal or a Silversea or Seabourn as you would on a large ship that holds 3,000 or 4,000 people. You're going to have usually better entertainment options, bigger production shows. You're not going to be able to do that on a smaller ship like Silversea. But what people like about Silversea is the luxury, the personal service, the attention. So what MSC and these others have done with this ship within a ship is say, okay, we're going to take part of our ship and we're going to make it this luxury experience. And one of the questions we're going to answer in this review is, have they been able to accomplish that? The reason you would choose this over a small ship is because you want that luxury experience, but you also want to have access to all the things, the other things the big ship has. You know, maybe the nice fitness center, could be the entertainment, could be all the dining options that you have on a large ship, especially dining. I'm going to start out and I'm going to rate the suite that we stayed in. I'm going to rate the lounge. I'm going to rate the restaurant. I'm going to rate the pool area because the MSC Yacht Club does have a private pool area. There's also a couple of other things. I'm just going to rate the overall experience and how we rate it for us. You may have a completely different experience. And I would invite you, if you've stayed in the MSC Yacht Club, please put it in the comments down below. Let me know your experience, what ship you were on. Do you agree or disagree with some of the things I'm saying? First, let's talk about the suite. Every stateroom in the MSC Yacht Club is considered a suite. They even have interior suites. The one we were in was called a deluxe balcony. We booked this trip about 2.5 to 3 weeks before the sailing. And that may have affected some of the things I'm going to talk about. I'm not sure. Just to save some time, I've got a full walkthrough and review that I did of that suite. I'll put a link to it up in the corner of this video. You may want to go watch that. First, I'm going to tell you the good things about the suite briefly, and then I'm going to tell you what I think are the bad things, the things we'd like to see changed or that didn't fit our style. Number one, it has a separate love seat area. That love seat in our stateroom or suite makes into a small bed, like a double bed. If you do travel with a third person, they could use that as their bed. The suite has a very large balcony. One of the largest balconies that we've seen on a room this size. It was very, very nice. 88 square feet. That's pretty big. A very large bathroom, large vanity, nice shower with a seat. I really like that. The water pressure was good. The temperature was a little finicky, but I was able to make it work no problem. Ricky had a little trouble with it getting too hot a couple of times, but nothing major. There is a makeup mirror in the bathroom, but it's not a lighted makeup mirror, which Ricky would prefer. The minibar is very well stocked, and it's included in the price of the cruise. This is something that Celebrity Retreat does not do, but the minibar is very nice, well stocked. They'll put anything in there you want, and it's all complimentary. So you can restock it with your favorite soft drinks or water or beer or whatever you want. You do get butler service in the MSC Yacht Club. Our butler, very nice young man. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the butler service here in a second. The butler service, our butler, I think he said he had 10 suites to take care of. They do offer twice daily cleaning of the stateroom in the morning and in the evening, like a turn down service. They put a sweet treat in the room every night from their onboard chocolate shop. And the other thing I really liked about this suite was it's super quiet. We never heard anything from our neighbors. We never heard anything from the hall, nothing on the outside. It was one of the quietest staterooms we've ever had. But the stateroom's not perfect. Number one, when we first got on board, we walked into the room and there was no welcome champagne. We had seen something online or on a YouTube video or something that talked about welcome champagne in an ice bucket. Didn't have that. There's no fruit bowl, and there are no flowers in the suite. There's no canapes offered. I know on the retreat when we were on before, they did have a service where they would bring canapes by your suite every afternoon. Now, the pillow menu that we were supposed to get, we didn't get. Maybe it's because we booked our cruise too late to get the pillow menu. I'm not sure what the reason is. When we asked our butler about it, that on the meet and greet, he acted like he didn't know anything about it. We did go to concierge. We did find the pillow menu at concierge, and we were able to select a couple of pillows from that. There are no night lights in the room, so you have to be very careful if you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. We travel with our own little portable night light that plugs in. I was able to find a plug up above the sink. There is an electrical outlet. It's hard to find. I think it's for an electric razor, but I was able to plug a little LED night light in that, and it really helped a lot. Made a big difference. Those little LED night lights are available on Amazon. In fact, if you're interested, I'll put a link in the description of this video. Another bad thing is, even though the balcony is very large, the furniture we thought was a little cheap. What they call a table, it's in between the two chairs, really looks more like a footrest that you would put in front of one of the chairs. And if you tried to set a drink on it, it was not a solid surface. It'd be very easy for your drink to fall over, like if you had a glass of champagne or something. I would much prefer a table, an actual table, and I think they could do a better job with the balcony furniture. One of the most negative things about the room is there's only one USB port next to the bed on one side of the bed. On the opposite side of the bed, there's no USB, no AC power. There's no AC power on either side of the bed. Now, the next couple of things I'm going to mention that I think were not to our liking in the suite are really personal. We did not find the bed comfortable at all. Ricky woke up 2 or 3 nights, ended up going over and trying to sleep on the couch because her back was killing her. It's kind of a memory foam mattress, and I didn't find it extremely comfortable. I certainly didn't find the pillows to be comfortable, but that's a personal thing. You let me know in the comments down below if you've stayed in the yacht club. Let me know if you found the bed to be comfortable. It didn't fit our preference. It might be a deal killer for us. It was that uncomfortable. Both of us kind of had a hard time sleeping. The other thing is really nitpicky, but again, this is supposed to be a luxury product. When you're in the bathroom, they offer all types of liquid products, shampoo, body wash, conditioner, body lotion, and they're in little pump bottles. The stroke of the pump is so short that to get enough shampoo to shampoo what little hair I have, I had to pump it like 10 or 15 times because it only goes up and down that far. So you get this little tiny squirt of liquid out. I guess that's their attempt to save on product. I don't know. I'm going to give the suite on MSC Yacht Club a rating. I'm going to go ahead and give it 7 out of 10, mostly because of the bed not being comfortable for us and no USB ports at the bedside tables, but only one on next to the bed. And I think that knocked a point off right there. And I'm going to take off another point for the fact that we found the bed uncomfortable. Okay, when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about the private lounge and the private restaurant for the MSC Yacht Club. Welcome back to my review of the MSC Yacht Club on MSC Seascape. Now, we were on a 7-night cruise out of Galveston, Texas, just a Western Caribbean itinerary. Not the most exciting itinerary in the world, to be quite frank with you, but we were going for the yacht club. We were not that concerned with the itinerary. But another benefit of being in the MSC Yacht Club is you have access to what's called the Top Sail Lounge. This is a private lounge that only people in the yacht club can go into. And it's open from 6 in the morning. I know it's open at 6 because I went in there earlier. And I think it stays open until well after 10 or 11 o'clock at night. We weren't up that late, so I don't know how late it stays open. Great place for early riser coffee. I would go in there every morning with my laptop, do my blog. By 6 a.m. when they opened, Isabel, one of the waitresses, would bring me my cup of coffee. She remembered me. But I could get in there even at 5 o'clock in the morning if I needed to and go ahead and get started on my work. And then when she came in, started the service, she'd bring me my cup of coffee. They do have an early riser, like a continental breakfast. They have snacks throughout the day in the Top Sail Lounge. They have a little area self-serve, but they have little small bites, little like tapas almost. And in the mornings, they have pastries and donuts and things like that. It looked to me like they had the exact same thing every day. You can get cappuccino because with the Yacht Club, you get a drink package and you can get any of the specialty coffees you want. Beautiful views all the way around. Really nice lounge. Comfortable seating, big windows where you can see the ocean. It's in the very front of the ship on deck 18. Sophisticated, very quiet, very secluded, and a nice perk of being in the MSC Yacht Club. The drinks also at the bar, very good. They did a very good job with the drinks. Ricky drinks a lemon drop martini, and she's had a lot of complaints on a lot of cruise lines about the lemon drop martini. She loved the lemon drop martini at the Top Sail Lounge. Starting at about 5 o'clock every evening, they do have entertainment in the lounge. We had a piano player, very nice, peaceful music, great place to sit and enjoy a drink before dinner or after dinner. My only complaint with the Top Sail Lounge is that service could be pretty slow. It took a long time for somebody to come over to take a drink order, and once they took the drink order, it took an extremely long time to get the drinks delivered to the table. And this is even if it wasn't that crowded in there. I don't know what is going on, but their service could be very slow in the lounge. That could be addressed. So for that reason, just because of the slow service, I'm only going to give the Top Sail Lounge a 9 out of 10, but that's a pretty high score. It was that good. It was really a nice place to sit down and enjoy a cocktail or drink or just sit there and enjoy the entertainment in the evening. Okay, let's talk about the Top Sail Restaurant, which is on deck 18, right above the Top Sail Lounge. Now, the Top Sail Lounge, I may have said it was on 18. It's on 16. The restaurant's on 18, one deck above. There is no deck 17. I didn't know this, but apparently the number 17 is unlucky or considered unlucky in Italy. Who knew? I never knew that. So there is no deck 17. Lounge is on 16. Restaurant is on 18, right above, and it kind of opens up into the lounge. You can kind of see over the rail down into the lounge. You can hear the music coming from the lounge while you're having dinner. It's a very nice restaurant, very elegant, very sophisticated, never too crowded, never had to wait in line. Very good, very polished service, but again, very slow. We found it took a long time to get waited on. It took a long time to get courses delivered to the table for for dirty plates to be cleared. So service was a little slow, and it didn't look to be understaffed. I could see a lot of waiters in there. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's a training issue or maybe it's just us. Let me know what, if you've been in the yacht club, have you experienced this? Now, as far as, and by the way, the restaurant is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is good. It's a much quieter, more peaceful place to go have a meal than going down into the main part of the ship, like in the main dining room or something like that. Much nicer than that. However, the food quality and the menus are very representative of a main dining room. It didn't seem to be that elevated. The food quality, I thought, was about par with what you would expect in a main dining room, to be quite frank with you. There were only a couple of standout dishes during the 7 nights. Now, we ate breakfast there 4 times. We ate lunch in the restaurant 3 times, and we had dinner there 3 times. The rest of the time, we were either in a specialty restaurant or maybe we skipped dinner or whatever, but we did dine in the restaurant several times, and we never found it to be exceptional or over the top or, it just, presentation was okay. The food was good, but just, like I say, I think kind of average, honestly. Now, you let me know what you think. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on MSC Yacht Club, and comments on food have been all over the board. I've seen people that say just raved about how wonderful the food is. I've seen other people that say, kind of like we do, it's nothing special. Some people say it's really bad. I didn't think it was really bad. We didn't have anything bad. We didn't have to send anything back. Breakfast, they seem to have an issue with. I would order eggs over medium for breakfast, and they came out way overcooked. They were over hard, and they were almost looked burned around the edge. Ricky tried the eggs Benedict twice. One time they were cooked okay. The second time, the yolk and the white was runny. It wasn't even cooked. I mean, it probably cooked for 3 minutes or something, the poached egg. I don't know why cruise lines seem to have a problem with eggs Benedict, but they do. On the last day we went to breakfast, I ordered the waffles. I wanted to try the waffles. Hand to God, Eggo waffles. These were, I don't even know if they put them in the toaster. It looked like they had taken Eggo waffles out of a freezer and let them thaw out and put them on the plate. They weren't hot. They were cold. They were tough. I didn't even eat them. And there's no excuse for that. You can get a fresh made waffle at a Holiday Inn Express. They even have the little machine there. You have to do it yourself, but you can get a good hot waffle at a Hampton Inn or a Holiday Inn Express. So MSC Yacht Club, they need to up their game on breakfast for sure. In general, they had an issue with the temperature of food. Almost everything that came out to the table was lukewarm, room temperature. Food was not being delivered hot. The only exception, which was strange, was the bread. The bread was warm when they came out and brought around the bowl of bread, and they had a really good bread. They had this really delicious sourdough roll that was out of this world. So they did a good job with the bread, but everything else was cold, so go figure. So for that reason, I'm only going to give the Top Sale restaurant 7 out of 10. You just can't screw up breakfast that bad 4 times and get a higher rating than a 7 out of 10. So when we come back, I'm going to tell you about the private pool deck. I'm going to talk about a few missteps that we noticed in MSC Yacht Club. And I'm going to talk overall and give a rating to this MSC Yacht Club experience. Welcome back to Cruise Report and my review of the MSC Yacht Club on MSC Seascape. Now, MSC Yacht Club guests get to enjoy their own private pool deck. It's on deck 20 forward, all the way at the front of the ship, but it is a beautiful area. It's one of the nicest pool decks we've seen. Thick padded loungers, and a lot of them. I don't think you're ever going to have trouble finding a place to lay out in the sun on this pool deck. A very large pool. I think you could almost swim laps in the pool. A large hot tub, and there's just tons of these loungers. Now, the only negative is that there are no loungers that are shaded other than the ones that are in cabanas, and you have to pay to have the cabana. So if you're like me and you're trying to stay out of the sun because you don't want to spend any more money on the dermatologist, you're kind of out of luck. You have to rent a cabana to be out of the sun, to have shade. Now, the good thing is the cabanas are very reasonably priced. I think it was like $26 or $27 for half a day for a cabana. Now that's a reasonable price for a cabana. I think it's like $50 for the full day. Sometimes they might run specials on port days. I'm not really sure. I think if we go back and decide to lay outside on the pool deck, we'll definitely rent a cabana. We didn't do it this time, but they look good. There was always some available. We didn't see them where they were always all full. In fact, we never saw the pool deck full. There was plenty of space for everybody. So I think it was really nice. There is a nice bar at the pool. And the waiters will come around, take your order, bring you drink orders. Of course, your drink package is included. So enjoy any drink you want at the pool. And for that reason, I'm going to give the pool deck area a 9 out of 10. I think it's one of the nicer features, especially for those of you that like laying out in the sun. I think you're going to love the pool deck in the MSC Yacht Club. You're not going to have to fight for a lounger like you do down at the main pool or wherever else you go on the ship. You're going to have plenty of space. You're going to not have to save a lounger and go through all that nightmare. So good job on the pool deck. Part of that pool deck is the one pool grill. And this is a buffet area right next to the bar. It's open for breakfast, lunch, and they do some afternoon snacks there, I think from 3 to 3:30. I think they do lunch from noon to 3. It's a small buffet, but everything I tried, we ate there twice, and everything I tried on the buffet was good. I thought the food at the pool grill was better than the food in the restaurant. I thought it was hotter, and I thought it was better. It was really good. They have a lot of seafood up there. Now, I'm not a big seafood guy, but if you like seafood, they had some really nice looking seafood dishes. But they had a lot of things up there, and you can also order off the menu. If you go up there for breakfast, you can order eggs made to order. If you go up for lunch like we did, you can order a cheeseburger. And I will say that I have to mention this because I think it's pretty important. I like a cheeseburger. I like a good cheeseburger. I ate 3 cheeseburgers on this trip, 2 in the restaurant, 1 up at the pool grill. It was the same and excellent every time. Maybe the best cheeseburger you're going to find at sea. I didn't think I would say that. I didn't expect to say that because the cheeseburgers you get down in the main part of the ship, which is basically on the buffet, no bueno. Cheeseburgers up in the pool grill and at the Top Sail restaurant. That was the best thing we had at the Top Sail restaurant was the cheeseburger. Very good. I'm giving it 9 out of 10. I think the pool grill buffet is a definite 9 out of 10. They also have shaded seating on both sides, port and starboard. So they have tables for 4. You can sit under a cover that's shaded. Very nice, very comfortable, and good service. They come around, take orders for drinks, and do all that. So great job, MSC, on the pool grill. Okay, now I'm going to talk about just the overall MSC Yacht Club experience. I'm going to give you the good, and I'm going to talk about the bad, and we're going to give you an overall rating of what we think of the MSC Yacht Club as an adult couple traveling as a couple. Number 1, we like the fact that it's completely segregated from the rest of the ship. Once you get beyond the yacht club doors with your key card access or your little wristband or whatever, however you get in there, it's a completely different experience. It's quiet. There's no lines. It's much more sophisticated. On our particular cruise, there were no kids in the yacht club that we saw. We never saw any kids in the yacht club. They do allow kids in the yacht club, but we didn't see any. And we really like that segregation, that you're in your own area. You do feel special when you're staying in the yacht club. Probably the best embarkation, disembarkation. This is something MSC has mastered for people that are staying in the yacht club. Embarkation, very smooth, private lounge with snacks, champagne, butlers there to help you put on your wristband to explain anything, answer any questions. They escort you to the Top Sail lounge while you're waiting for your suite to be ready. I mean, it's seamless. It's very, very easy and very sophisticated, and you feel very special. They even escort you off the ship for disembarkation into private elevators. So you're not having to stand in line, fight your way to find an elevator. The butler takes you around. He has a key that he gets a private elevator. You go down. I mean, it was very impressive the way they do embarkation and disembarkation. Another benefit we like is they do include the drink package. So you have all of your bar drinks, soft drinks, juices, coffees. If you're in the yacht club, all of that's included, as well as the minibar. Very good job on the drink package. And that drink package is good anywhere on the ship. It's not just in the yacht club. So if you go to any bar on the ship, you can order a drink. I think it's up to $16 per drink, which is pretty much everything on the ship. There's a few drinks that go beyond that, but that pretty much covers you. Now, the gratuities are not included, at least not on U.S. embarkations when you embark on a cruise out of the U.S., and they do hit you for $20 per day per person for gratuities. So for us, that was an extra of, $280. Take that into consideration. The concierge in the MSC Yacht Club, very helpful. We visited many times. Serena was very good about helping us with any questions we had. The concierge, I think, was very nice. You do have butler service. We had a very nice butler. There were a couple of missteps with the butler service, but he was very pleasant. I think there was some training issues that need to happen there. I'll talk more about that in a second. You also have segregated theater seating. So if you do go down to the main theater, they have an area roped off just for MSC Yacht Club guests, and your butler will actually escort you down to the theater. Now, once the show starts, they open up those ropes and anybody can sit there, but you have first shot at those seats. That was a nice feature. The little wristband they give you when you check in, you can use that to access elevators, and when you use that wristband to call an elevator, you pretty much get an express elevator experience. That was really another nice special little perk. You get Wi-Fi included, up to 2 devices per person, but it's their basic Wi-Fi. But they do let you upgrade to the streaming Wi-Fi. I think I paid like an extra $28. It was very reasonable. Now, it was not the best Wi-Fi in the world. It could have been better. I'll put it on the screen. I did measure the speeds, and the speeds were pretty bad. So it wasn't the best Wi-Fi, but it was good enough. I was able to get everything done I needed to get done. There were some missteps and I'm not going to say they're bad things about the MSC Yacht Club experience, but some things that we feel like could be improved. There's no sense of, when you get on the ship and you go to the yacht club, you feel special. You feel like you're in this special environment. You don't get that feeling until you get on the ship. There's nothing on the website or in the app before you get on board the ship to even indicate that you're in the MSC Yacht Club. The daily program is printed. You can get a printed version of the daily program, and we asked our butler to give us one in the suite every day. That delivery, I think, only happened 3 out of 7 nights. For some reason, it just wasn't consistent. Sometimes we'd get the daily program, sometimes we didn't. We'd have to go down to concierge, and they would give us one down there. Ricky asked about a fruit bowl. And when we checked in, or we got to our room and the butler came to greet us, she said, "Do we get a fruit bowl?" He said no. But he did bring us one the next day, a big bowl with all kinds of fruit. But then that night, they took it away. So we only got it for one day. I'm not sure why they took the fruit bowl away. The chocolates they would leave on the nightstand, that was inconsistent. We got those about 3 nights out of 7, 3 or 4 nights out of 7. And then some nights you didn't get any chocolates. You just never knew. The breakfast menu to order breakfast in suite for if you're going to have room service breakfast had everything on the menu except eggs. There were no egg dishes on the menu. Now, somebody in one of my comments said you can order eggs, you just have to write it in. But come on, reprint the thing and put eggs on there. Now, I suspect the reason they left eggs off the order menu is because they were afraid the eggs would show up cold. And the reason I say that is because they were showing up cold in the restaurant. So if they can't get them hot in the restaurant, I doubt they could get them hot in room service. There was no disembarkation put in our suite the night before or any time before the end of the cruise. We never got any information on disembarkation. There was a disembarkation talk, but you had to go to that. There was nothing. Usually they'll put a little sheet in the room to tell you about disembarkation. They didn't. And we had 2 time changes on this cruise because of daylight savings time. And they never put anything in the suite to let you know, okay, tonight you need to turn your clock back. Most cruise lines will do that. They'll put a little card on the bed before you go to bed, and it will remind you to turn your clock back or forward or whatever. They didn't do that. Nevertheless, those are minor details. Now, the meet and greet from the butler, we were told no 3 times during that meet and greet. The first thing was the welcome champagne. He said, no, they don't do that anymore. There was a bucket for the ice for the champagne in the room, but no welcome champagne. He said they've changed their policy. They don't do it anymore because some people don't like champagne. Okay, maybe that's the case. Still makes you feel kind of special. And honestly, we don't always drink the welcome champagne anyway, but it kind of makes you feel special when you walk in and you see the iced down bottle of champagne with the 2 flutes sitting on the coffee table. The other thing we were told no on was the fruit. He said there's no fruit brought to the room, even though he did eventually bring fruit, but they only left it there for one day. The third thing was about the extension cord. I just asked because I wanted to know, what do you do if you have a CPAP machine? And he was completely dumbfounded. He didn't act like he had a clue what I was talking about. So those are just little missteps, things that are training issues that could be dealt with, I think, pretty easily. In spite of those little missteps, we also asked about a topper because Ricky's back was hurting her with the bed. We asked our butler if we could get a topper for her side of the bed. And that was number 4, no. So 4 times we were told no. That's something you don't get on Silversea or a luxury ship. You rarely will ever hear the word no on Silversea or Crystal or any of those smaller luxury ships. But it's MSC, okay? It's not a luxury cruise line. Nevertheless, I'm still going to give the experience a 9 out of 10. I think MSC did a very good job. When we come back from this short break, I'm going to talk about how does the MSC Yacht Club compare to the small ship luxury experience. Most importantly, is this a good option for adults traveling as a couple? Hey everybody, welcome back to Cruise Report. Let's wrap this thing up, and I'm going to tell you real quick, how does the MSC Yacht Club compare to a small luxury ship? Close as far as the experience, but it's not quite there. It's just not. There's about, I think, 300 to 400 people max in the yacht club is what it will hold. They have enough staff. Everybody's very pleasant. The butlers, the room steward, the waitresses, everybody's very nice, very friendly, great service, slow at times, but still very good service. But when you step out of the yacht club, what I call the gin pop, you're on an MSC ship. It's noisy, it's chaotic, lots of kids. You're just on a big cruise ship at that point. So that's the difference between the small luxury ship experience. And I think you could probably find some deals on small luxury ships that rival MSC Yacht Club as far as price. Is this a good choice for adults who travel as a couple? If you like MSC Cruises and you like their offerings that they have throughout the ship, whether it's the slides or the pool deck or the entertainment or the specialty dining, you love it, but you want something a little bit better to feel more special, to have a quiet place to return to at night. Yes, this is a good choice for adults who travel as a couple, because in our experience, we didn't even see any kids in the yacht club. Even though they allow kids, we didn't see them. So it was a much more upscale feeling. That's my review of the MSC Yacht Club from our perspective. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section down below. I read every comment. I'll try to answer your questions if I can. I'm sure I left something out. I made a ton of notes. So I don't know what I left out, but I'm sure I left something out. But thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up if you like the video. And until I see you on the next Cruise Report, I'll end this video like I end all my videos by saying smooth sailing.